Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. It is Throwback Thursday and I'm going back a couple of celebrations using the Driving By stamp set. So what I've done is I've stamped in Memento ink all over the card and then stamped an extra of the vans, colored it in, used the stamp in Memento to stamp the greeting and then cut it out with one of the stylish shapes dies. So I'll just quickly go through how I did the card. Super simple, doesn't even need to be exact. You could knock these out just if you wanted to do a whole bunch of the vans themselves. You could just stamp a whole bunch out and then take your Stampin' Blends with you wherever you go. I used to do this in the hockey arenas. I was the mom who was coloring stuff in the arena. If I wasn't binding a quilt, I was coloring stamps. So easy to take with you. This is super easy to do just like this. And I'm just kind of brickworking these or however you want to phrase that. So I've got the front of the card done with that. I'm just going to stamp the van down on a scrap of paper, and there's just enough room on there. And then I'll run through the colors that I used on this. Okay, I used a light poppy parade for the tail light. Just one little dot like that's all you need. And then I used light daffodil delight for the headlight and the tail pipe. Then I did the tires. I did the hubcaps in light smoky slate and the tires in light smoky slate as well. If you wanted to do the tires in black, you could. I just like the smoky slate on here, so just using the thinner end and just going round. Okay, and then I used the dark smoky slate to do around the hubcaps, just like that. And I also used the light smoky slate for the bumpers. So just smoothing that in like that. And of course, the van, any color you want. The windows I did in light pool party and just a couple of dabs with the brush end of the blends. And I'm trying to stay in the lines, but it's okay if you go outside of the lines because I'm going through with dark Highland Heather. Whoops. Okay, that was unusual. With dark Highland Heather, there we go, to do the wheel wells here, or the hubs around the wheels, and also to just fill in around the windows. So just a little bit of a steady hand in here and just one line across, and you can see it almost, because it's goes on a little wet, you can see it almost just blending and filling itself. Okay, so then it's light Highland Heather on the rest of the van. Again, not too bad if you overlap because it is a darker color that you're going into. So if you're a bit wiggly, you'll do just fine with this. And then bringing it down. If you're very clever with your blends, you can really kind of do shading and shadows and light and shine. I'm not that clever, so I'm just blending. So there we go. And then you can just cut out your shape and Your best friend for things like this is a really good sharp pair of scissors. They don't have to be great big scissors. They don't have to be really tiny scissors. Just these ones are, I think, 2.5 or 3-inch bladed scissors. Really sharp. It helps get you those nice, crisp, smooth cuts so that you can really outline things nicely. So we're just going to trim around this. I'm not going to cut the tailpipe out completely. I'm just going to kind of go around the wheels, trying to cut on the outside of the Memento ink so that I don't lose the outline of the van. And if you do have any spots you kind of missed with the scissors, you can always go back and trim them up later. Okay, so I've got just a little bit of an edge on one of the tires. So I'm just going to snip that off. Okay, so there we go. And now what we need to do is we need to put dimensionals on our van and your greeting. And I always say paper has two sides, and it's obvious I used this piece for something else that didn't work out, so I put it in my reuse later bin. I'm just going to place this right over top of one of the outlined vans already. And that way you can actually see, it almost looks a little 3D because you can see the outline of the van underneath. And then I'm just going to put this on, just offset over a couple of the vans. And there we have a super simple but really cute driving by just to say hi card. You could, if you wanted to do it as a masculine card, you could do the van in a different color. You could use the race car in a different color, and it would go just as nicely. So thank you so much for watching this Throwback Thursday with Driving By, and we will create together again soon.